Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, Christopher Samaroo, Joshua Samaroo's father, supposedly changes his opinion after his lawyer explained the legal logic behind the charges against Kaia Sealy. Now, of course, that's what the media says that he supposedly said. Kaia's friends who attended a protest yesterday said that he never made that statement. I don't know. Even if he did, probably it's been taken out of context. Under Trinidad and Tobago law, if the state proves a person shot at police officers, that person can be held legally responsible for any fatal crossfire that follows. Now, I don't know. I think they're taking, they're misusing that law, because at the end of the day, you're talking about over 19 shots fired at Joshua Samaroo, the man with the hands in the air. How could that be justified? How? Right? It is crazy. And then they cannot up to now present any sort of credible evidence that Kaia Sealy shot at them to begin with. But it always reminds me, and I used this analogy the other day, about, or example, you know, like when a husband abuses his wife and then turns around and says, "You made me do it." That's basically what these police officers are saying here. They're telling Kaia, "You made us kill Joshua Samaroo, and we're going to charge you for making us fire at Samaroo and killing him." It's ridiculous, extremely ridiculous. Especially because there's basically no evidence so far being presented that proves that she ever shot at them. But even if they did, as I said recently, they're supposed to know in the first place, if you're being shot at, run for cover and then try to get a hold of the situation. They didn't do that in the video. And then besides that, you're supposed to be trying to disarm, eliminate, right? Or neutralize the person that is shooting at you, not the other individuals in the vehicle. So basically, as I said the other day, so in Trinidad and Tobago, hostages won't survive then. That's what they're trying to say. Sealy faces 3 counts of shooting with intent. Where those 3 shots were fired by? 3 counts of shooting with intent at police and 1 count of manslaughter for the death of her partner, Joshua Samaroo, who was killed during the police pursuit in January 2026. While the police accused Sealy of starting the gunfire, Sealy has strongly maintained her innocence from her hospital bed, stating she is not, well, that was back then, and up to now she's still saying that she's not a gangster and has never held a weapon. Since back then, she was making it clear that she never fired a shot at police, and now she's still making that point very clear. My response, even if Kaia's story isn't completely accurate, and she's supposedly known by the police, all of a sudden they're saying that she's known as a Barbie, by the alias Barbie Gangster or Gangster Barbie. I'm not sure. How come we never heard about this alias before now? You know, usually, in cases where families deny that their sons or their daughters are involved in crime, usually people like Ian Allen and others, and even the police officers, TTPS, will release pictures showing these individuals holding firearms and, you know, showing that their allegiance to particular various gangs or whatsoever. Not once have we ever heard about anything showing or proving that either Kaia or Joshua Samaroo were involved in any sort of gang activity or members of any gangs or anything like that. And then now all of a sudden this alias suddenly appears. No one knew about Kaia's alias, Gangster Barbie, except the police. So how come that makes any sense to any of you outside there? But anyhow, so even if Kaia's story isn't completely accurate and she's supposedly known by police, it doesn't change the fact that there was no exchange of gunfire during the killing of Joshua Samaroo at that point in time, even if they want to claim that they were shooting while they were pursuing the vehicle, because there's no video footage to either debunk or verify those claims. We know for sure what we have seen in that video, not the altered video, what we have seen in that original video police officers shooting at a man who had surrendered. Gary Griffith also raised other important concerns about fingerprinting and asked if they tested for gunshot residue. But it seems as though the TTPS and some politicians believe that we are all naive or just plain dotish. How come she was allowed to leave the country if they knew that she shot at cops? Have you ever heard about that taking place here in Trinidad and Tobago before? How come none of those cops tried to evade gunshots and run for cover? Not once, not one of them. They kept walking forward while shooting. The TTPS is taking the entire population for fools. At this point in time, people, I'm telling you, we need to start an online petition to say that Alistair Guevara needs to resign. Immediately, with immediate effect, Alistair Guevara, Commissioner of Police, needs to resign. It doesn't matter if either of the victims are involved in crime or associated with criminals. But as I said before, no one has been able to show any sort of evidence that either of those individuals are involved in any sort of crime. The fact remains that the TTPS walked up to a vehicle and sprayed it down with bullets while Joshua had his hands in the air. Those are the facts, people. And the sad thing about it is, a year ago, fellow UNCs, although I'm not a member of the United National Congress, but everybody knows in my videos that I support most of their policies and most of what they are doing in government. A year ago, fellow UNCs, minus those who worship the TTPS, because they have always been defending the TTPS unconditionally. Even when the mighty Morphin Ghanaian Coal Pot PNM was in office, they were still UNC here, but still defending the police because they're just what you call police lovers. So a year ago, UNCs, minus those who worship the TTPS, would have been standing in solidarity with Kaia. I'm telling you. Because the original video clearly shows the police officers were the only ones who were shooting at Joshua Samaroo's car. It's clear. It's clear for everybody to see. Look at it. The shot that they zoomed into, when you look at it, the original video, it exited at the front of the video, at the front of the car, sorry. I'm telling you, they're trying to take Trinidadians for fools. All of a sudden, UNC supporters have lost the ability to see and use common sense. But that's when you care more about politics than anything else. The bullet which entered the back glass exited through the front glass where Kaia was sitting, actually crouching. The injuries show clearly that she was trying to cover herself, protect herself from getting shot. Not that she was shooting at police. This level of evil must stop. I don't support the PNM. Everybody knows that and never will. But I will not blindly support the UNC either. They are failing to protect we the people from an extremely corrupt TTPS mob. I want to tell this message to the UNC people outside here, the supporters, and to the government. Keep telling yourself that PNM is dead. Because that's how you'll be behaving, you know. You're behaving as though, well, you know, this time we win and it have no chance of PNM ever coming and winning again. I don't know who planted those seeds into Kamala's mind, but you're being deceived, Madam Prime Minister. You're being deceived. Keep telling yourself that PNM is dead. I don't know who is really giving Kamala advice since she won the general election. You're making it very hard to win in 2030. Each time you start to do good, tata like this happens, and your silence is deafening. The protester, the young lady yesterday was 100% correct. When she said, Madam Prime Minister, your silence is deafening. You who supposedly care about people, quiet, while police officers are taking advantage of a young woman. I really hope and pray that Trinis will be ready to give a new party a chance by then, by 2030, because people, we can't go back to whole strain PNM either. PNM is evil and destructive. UNC is doing a lot of evil right now. I ain't lying to tell you, but they're still doing good. PNM is just plain evil. So we cannot take the chance of going back to PNM. But how can we trust UNC either in 2030 if they continue to betray us in this type of way? This type of way. Prime Minister Kamala Persaud should have already come out recently and condemned Philip Edward Alexander's support of what is taking place. She should have already fired Roger Alexander as as Minister of Homeland Security a long time ago. Recently, I started to, say, okay, it seems as though he is improving. But now with this situation again, what does Roger Alexander have to say about this? I'm telling you, it just seems as though UNC is setting up themselves for a landslide defeat in 2030. So I said I really hope and pray that Trinis will be ready to give a new party a chance by then, because we can't go back to whole strain PNM either. Fishermen and members of the public using the Otaheite fishing facility can expect improvement works on the compound from as early as next week. This as Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Ravi Ratiram toured the facility on Saturday, describing it as deplorable amid complaints from fishermen over its state. With fishermen facing issues including no electricity at the Otaheite fishing facility, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries Ravi Ratiram says he will put together a team from his ministry to address the problems as soon as next week. The minister said the government, the permanent secretary in the ministry will be tasked with identifying how funding can be acquired to address the current issues, which, if left unchecked, can pose serious safety hazards for the fishermen and the public. Now, you see, this is where the UNC performs well. It pertains to these type of issues. I'm telling you, in general, they govern better than the PNM, but the problem is the kind of errors that they are making, significant errors that overshadow this type of good performance. Going and meeting with the people and trying to resolve certain issues, development of infrastructure and education and healthcare and whatsoever. Those are the good types of things that the UNC does. But when you're increasing fees and fines and taxes and then also supporting a rogue TTPS, you're overshadowing all the good that you're doing with a lot of evil, with a lot of wrongdoing. And it will end up costing us. I've been saying that for months now. It's going to end up costing us in 2030.
Chief Technical Officer is here with me this morning, and we are going to put together a team from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, from our engineering unit, to scope these works, to basically document what is required, find necessary funding, and see how best we can work closely with our council, with our mayor, with the Fishing Association, to address the concerns that we have seen here this morning.
The minister said the permanent secretary in the ministry will be tasked with identifying how funding can be acquired to address some of the other current issues which, if left unchecked, can pose serious safety hazards for the fishermen and the public.
From what I understand, the electricity has also been cut to the facilities, having the facilities in the dark, fisher folks in and out of here, the fishermen leave in the night to go to make a tide. So we need to have lights, we need to have proper lighting to start with. So it's a health and safety hazard, it's a security risk at the end of the day. So we are going to treat this with utmost urgency to see how best we can bring about some solutions to the challenges that we see.
Minister Ratiram said there are other facilities in South Trinidad which also face maintenance challenges, including the San Fernando Fishing Depot and the Gran Chamer facility. He said repairs at those other facilities are a work in progress. Gregory McBurney, TTT News.
Monday, May 25, 2026 Weather Report for Trinidad and Tobago. Monday, May 25, 2026 in Trinidad and Tobago will feature variably cloudy, hazy and breezy conditions with a mix of sunshine, regional showers, and a low to medium 30% to 40% chance of isolated afternoon thunderstorms. According to the official Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service, daytime maximum temperatures are forecasted to reach 32 degrees Celsius in Trinidad Piarco and 31 degrees Celsius in Tobago Crown Point, dropping to a comfortable low around 24 degrees Celsius overnight. A mild to moderate concentration of Saharan dust remains present in the atmosphere, producing slightly hazy horizons. Marine conditions. Open waters will experience moderate seas with wave heights peaking between 2.0 to 2.5 meters. Sheltered areas will remain generally calm with waves below 1.0 meter, though it can get choppy in or near heavy downpours. Winds will blow steadily from the east to southeast at 15 to 35 kilometers per hour, with higher gusts possible during thunderstorm activity. Safety notes. Individuals sensitive to respiratory changes should take precautions due to the active Saharan dust. Brief street or flash flooding is possible in low-lying areas if localized heavy downpours occur.
Regional news now. Guyanese President Dr. Irfan Ali recently visited the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier USS Nimitz to praise the strong security bond between Guyana and the United States of America. Because you see, Irfan Ali, unlike most of the tribal leaders in our region, understands that we cannot defend our territories on our own. We need America's assistance. But you see, when you have tribalism in your mind, you think you can just depend on the mighty morphin Ghanaian ancestors in order to be able to fight on your behalf. As Christians, we know that God will protect us no matter what. But when it pertains to a government, God has given the government the authority and the responsibility to protect their citizens. And therefore, they're going to have to use a military in order to do that. Even in the Bible, God had, under the Jewish kingdoms, kingdom of Israel, the kingdom of Judah, there were soldiers, there was a military people. God does things in a supernatural way, and he also uses mankind to serve his purpose as well. Traveling with senior military officials and members of his cabinet, the president toured the massive ship while it operated in the Caribbean. During his time on board, he met with several Guyanese crew members serving in the American military and expressed great pride in their work. President Ali emphasized that this close partnership is built on shared goals of keeping peace, defending democracy, and ensuring stability throughout the region, protecting the Essequibo most of all when it pertains to Guyana. Because boldface Venezuela wants to take back and annex that almost half of Guyana. This high-profile visit highlights how much Guyana and the U.S. have tightened their defense ties to protect borders and fight crime together. And that is a good decision. The National Works Agency in Jamaica says it is undertaking a project to rehabilitate select major gullies in St. Andrew as part of efforts to improve the resilience of these waterways ahead of the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Pray hard. God spares you this year. My goodness, really, God forbid if a hurricane hits Jamaica again this year, I don't know what is going to happen. The gullies to receive attention include two sections of the Constant Spring Gully located along Carawina Avenue, the gully that runs under the Torrington Bridge, Euro Crescent Gully, Burger Gully, and the Gem Road Gully. And I hope that when you're looking at all these different gullies, I hope you're looking at the gullies and attending to the gullies in the rural areas as well. I mean, I don't know these areas being mentioned. Yes, I know that some of them are probably rural. Those some of Jamaica, I do have Jamaican viewers. Comment and let me know if they are really attending to addressing the issues facing all these places in Jamaica, including the rural areas. The All Stars Calypso tent in Barbados is getting ready to launch its new show program later this month. During a meeting at the Koyman store in Barbados on Saturday, tent manager Eleanor Rice promised a great season filled with strong musical performances, community projects, and exciting new artists. She shared the group's big plans for the year and talked about how the tent has helped keep local calypso music alive for a very long time. And as much as I like soca, I definitely love my traditional calypso music. Vintage Kaiso, even more, I love vintage Kaiso. This launch marks the official start of the group's preparation for the upcoming festival season. International news now. President Trump says critics are attacking an Iran deal that isn't even fully negotiated yet. Okay then, you've been negotiating this for nearly a year now. How much more negotiations, Trump? In a lengthy statement, Trump defended ongoing talks while sharply criticizing the Obama administration's nuclear agreement with Tehran, claiming it handed Iran massive amounts of cash and enabled its nuclear ambition. But you giving them billions of dollars back, Trump, so what are you talking about? I totally agreed with you when you said that Obama made a mess of things, you know. Look what you're doing now. He said, if I make a deal with Iran, it will be a good and proper one. Trump wrote before insisting, I don't make bad deals here because you just love yourself so much now. You think you are perfect. You're always making right decisions, which is not true. You make a lot of good decisions, but not all the time. My response, your $1 billion deal will ensure that the Ayatollah can continue to fund terrorist groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, and Houthis throughout the Middle East. That's what your $1 billion deal will do, even if they give up the uranium, the enriched uranium, Trump. By giving them back, right? Billions of dollars in frozen assets. What you're doing is enabling them to begin sponsoring terrorism throughout the Middle East yet again. That's so brilliant of you. What a wonderful deal, isn't it? It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't matter to you, or even to those in America, the conservatives in America. Thank God I'm a Christian conservative, not just a conservative. It wouldn't matter to you all, It wouldn't matter to you all. It doesn't matter to you because Americans won't be the ones having to run in bomb shelters within seconds when terrorists strike at Israel in the future. When Hezbollah is strengthened again and given funds and weapons to be able to attack Israel, America has nothing to worry about, No. When Houthis begin attacking Israel, when Hamas begins attacking Israel, although Hamas almost completely destroyed by Israel at this point in time. But you're demanding a ceasefire as part of this agreement with Lebanon. So the ceasefire with Lebanon is part of the agreement with Iran, right? So what you're actually doing there is telling Israel, we are going to give the Iranians billions of dollars to fund Hezbollah so that in the future they can attack you again. While all you have to do is just stay silent and don't attack Hezbollah at this point in time while they are at a weakened state. So I said it doesn't matter to you because Americans won't be the ones having to run in bomb shelters within seconds when terrorists strike at Israel in the future. You started a good job, Trump, but have failed miserably in the end. It's so sad. And you do it all over the world. You did it in Venezuela, you started a good job, and now you've left a tyrant, a bully like Delcy in office. And you continue to bully Cuba. Cubans are suffering instead of just removing the tyrants. What you're doing is bullying. You're bullying. Because if you really want to end the communist rule in Cuba, you will go in and get rid of that regime, that communist regime. I want freedom for the people in Cuba. But all these restrictions and stuff like that, and the embargo and so forth, right? That you're putting on Cuba, you're making the Cuban people suffer even more while the government still remains in power. That is bullying. That is just bullying because you're not doing anything to actually help or assist the people of Cuba.
Bible quote of the day. John 1:6-12 NKJV. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. This man came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light which gives light to every man coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him, and the world did not know him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name. Trinidad.